Hello, and welcome to another MCO market update on Solana. We are dealing with the Solana price chart here on the daily time frame, and it's interesting to see that the price is still holding above that trend line, and that move up happened from the blue support zone, from the 161.8 extension. That's where the buyers turned up. We had a break below those previous swing lows from August 24 and March 24. That is something that we regularly see, right? Where, for example, because clearly there were lots of stops below those levels, and the price just dipped below, caught those stops, triggered them, and then reversed. That was one of the, let's say, probable events that I highlighted. We have to at least be ready for, because I didn't want to give up on the bullish potential for Solana, right? Now, we're still, though, not very, it's still not very clear if really the fifth wave is unfolding or whether this is simply a B wave. I just want to take a moment again to highlight what are the two main scenarios. The first one is, and that's not necessarily the most probable one. I mean, they are both probable. My personal preference is still one more high towards round about $360. And people ask me, but couldn't it go to 400? I mean, yeah, it's more about, this is the next, like, we need some kind of I don't know, we need like something on the chart that acts as a guide for us, like a landmark. That's the word I was looking for. And that's the $360 level. So when we get there, it's not that up there will be a short trade setup or anything, or the price can't go higher. It's more like the next target would be just an ideal target for the fifth wave. Looking at the white scenario, though, that this is the B wave. Okay, this would be a B wave rally that's now unfolding. And it would be unfolding as an A, B, C structure. And then we can break down from there. That is one scenario. And the other one is the yellow one, which is more bullish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 waves up instead of 3. With the 5 wave move up, we can watch for $360, $370 as next upside target. And how can we tell the difference? Well, you can really only tell the difference by paying very close attention to the nanostructures. So as I said, in the white count, we should still see another higher low and then a higher high. But afterwards, if at any point then we get a small 5 wave move down, that would be a trigger to indicate, hey, it's going down lower, for example, in this C wave. So, okay, and when we see this and the corrective bounce, that's a setup. That's actually a short trade setup then. So my main point here is, as long as pullbacks remain corrective, the focus can be on higher prices. But we are now approaching critical levels, especially here around $147. That was one of the levels that I called out in the last video that could still be reached, because it's the 38.2 retracement on the larger time frame. It's a previous swing high that formed on the 24th of March, 23rd of March. So it is important resistance, and it's also a resistance level on the smaller time frame. So I'd say let's take a quick look at the smaller time frame for Solana. Let's see if there's anything we can identify here that would give us further clues. And I mean, I've got different colors here. This is a smaller time frame. It just gives you an idea of the microstructure. It's just sometimes these diverge from each other, the larger and the smaller time frames, because different degrees of complexity and so on. But what I wanted to highlight here is, look, we've got 5 waves up, okay? So that could be a wave 1. A wave 1, and the corrective pullback that I showed you could land in this area between $103.90 and $122.34. So this is what we are tracking here in a 1-2 setup. So the next pullback, for example, if you watched Bitcoin's video, or not Bitcoin's video, but the video on Bitcoin, then you might remember that I said circle wave 4, like a larger pullback, is due now for Bitcoin after it completed basically the third wave to the upside I was watching for, right? And that fourth wave pullback could occur, and then on the Solana chart, for example, that could be a wave 2. That could be a wave 2. But 5 waves up could also be an A wave, all right? So I already showed you on the larger time frame, we might just be dealing with a larger ABC structure to the upside. But in both cases, this here would be support between $103.90 and $122.34. Now, we have 5 waves up, and then the $147 level, if we push higher once more, which absolutely is possible, not needed, then at the moment it looks nearly as if it wants to push higher once more. It could get to $147 as next resistance. Clearly, the fib levels are being respected. The price reacted here to $141, and we could get one more high to 147, for example. Yeah, this is how I am watching the chart, how I see the chart. One more high likely, but as I said in yesterday's video already, if we get a break below $132.50, then it would be an indication that the wave 2 pullback has actually started. That's the update about Solana. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.